Today, we are going to talk about image worship and multiplicity of gods in Hinduism. Hindus believe in one supreme power, energy, Shakti, which we call Brahman, and also believe in the manifestation of multiplicity of gods and goddesses. According to our scriptures, Hindus have 330 million gods and goddesses. In fact, these manifestations can be infinite. The proper analogy is sun and the infinite number of rays. It is difficult to experience the sun and also even more difficult to look at the sun directly. But we can experience its rays. For all these infinite rays, there is only one source, that is sun. Similarly, all these multiplicity of gods and goddesses of Hinduism are merely representing the many aspects of Brahman. Also, we need to keep in mind that we cannot see the sun directly with our eyes. We know that it exists, but we can see the sun by holding a mirror and see the image of the sun in a mirror. What we see in the mirror is only the image of sun, not sun itself. Similarly, thousands of gods and goddesses we worship in the temples and at homes are the images of that one supreme power. Another way to explain the infinite manifestations of supreme power or Shakti is by remembering the very nature and qualities of God. By the way, did anybody see God? How he looks? And what are his qualities? So, obviously, nobody has seen it. Is there a shape, form, or name for him? All religions, including Christianity and Islam, believe that God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. If that is the case, God can take any shape, any form he wants to take. He can appear any number of places he wishes to do so. And he can be present in any number of images or any objects if he chooses to be. If we think otherwise, we humans with limited knowledge, with so much ignorance and little brains, are limiting the supreme power of Almighty. God cannot be limited, and we cannot be restricted, and we cannot be boxed, and he cannot be confined. Hence, we Hindus believe in the supreme power of God and see everywhere and in everything. Only Hindus are image or idol worshippers? What about other religions? All religions practice image worship. They are all idol worshippers. Hindus accept it with pride and developed lengthy procedure to conduct worship services. Since Hindus believe in multitude of gods and goddesses, they developed a wide variety of pujas to suit the image of the god. But unfortunately, there is a tendency on the part of Christians and Muslims, atheists, secularists, communists, to discredit the image worship, knowing fully well they hold certain items and images as sacred and hold them dearly. Let us remember one thing at this point. The whole world is made up of images, signs, and symbols. Without them, the whole human race cannot communicate, cannot speak, cannot imagine, cannot accumulate, cannot travel, cannot identify, and cannot remember. When we think of a mother, we know exactly how she looks and remember her smile, words, compassion instantly. Similarly, when we think of a house, or our children, or our God, whether he be Hanuman, Allah, Jesus, or the books like Bible, Quran, Bhagavad Gita, all these immediately you remember, you will try to identify the shape and the form and the content of the books. When a Christian sits in a church and hears the sermon by a priest or a pastor, don't you think that he remembers the image of Jesus and the Bible? Can we imagine somebody going to Hindu temple not imagining and identifying with an image? We all know that all religious followers respect their scriptures and respect their services as sacred. Hindus accept it, remember them, and do pujas, while Christians and Muslims may accept them as sacred but refuse to do worship services similar to the way we Hindus do. Also, it is very difficult for the mind to control and keep it blank. Mind cannot be kept quiet. It always imagines, perceives, wanders, roams around, and keeps moving. It arouses thinking, opinions, philosophy, emotions, feelings, memories, dreams about material as well as non-material objects. It can travel faster than a speed of light anywhere, irrespective of the distance. Mind has the ability to form a mental image of something that may or may not even exist. That kind of imagination is the root of many inventions and discoveries. It is the mind that creates or builds mental images, pictures, objects, or events. Hindus believe that the mind creates the images depending on what you want to imagine. A Hindu can sit in a worship room in the house or in the temple and visualize images with different attributes, characteristics, costumes, weapons, features, ornaments, and the mystery. When Hindus think of different images of God and goddesses, they evoke memories of the connections between the image and the beyond. Hence, we can imagine the kind of image he wants, such as Lord Rama, Krishna, Hanuman, and so on, and then worship them accordingly. Christians say that any image made of human hand cannot be worshipped because it is false god. But in church, you will find cross, Jesus idol, Mary idol, and many other things. If a Christian sits in the church listening to a pastor, don't you think that it is reasonable, rational, or natural for a mind to imagine either Jesus, Mary, Bible, cross, Paul, or Timothy? Unfortunately, they do not want to accept it for the fear that they may be called idol worshippers. Bible describes the Trinity as the unity of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, as three persons in one Godhead. The doctrine of Trinity is considered to be one of the central Christian affirmations about God. When you have three in one God, why can't we have infinite number of manifestations in one God? The Prophet Muhammad forbade depiction of himself because he did not want people to worship him when he was dead. He claimed to be a prophet and not a god. Likewise, when Muslims go to mosque to listen to Imam, do namaz 5 times a day, kneel on the floor in the direction of Makkah, and making a hajj to Makkah to touch or kiss Kaaba, don't you think that he mentally thinking of being in front of Allah? It is difficult to believe that they do not have any image whatsoever. All religious followers are, in one way or the other, image or idol worshippers. Hindus accept with pride and others don't. Whenever Hindus pray to a particular god or goddess, they identify with him or her with certain attributes, features, accomplishments, talents, characteristics. When we think of Ganesh, we think of intelligence and removing of obstacles. Hanuman for strength, unwavering bhakti, manners, and humility. Rama for justice, truth, chivalry, virtue. Krishna for compassion, protection, tenderness, love. Shiva for his cosmic dance and benevolence, yoga and meditation. Lakshmi for wealth, Saraswati for knowledge, Durga for protection, motherhood and strength, Subramanya for skillfulness in the art of army, brave, intelligence, family life, healthy children, Dattatreya as Adiguru, teacher of yoga, granter of moksha, so on and so on. So when we sit in front of a particular deity, so we always think of the characteristics and the attributes and the achievements of that God, and then try to absorb these images, absorb the qualities, and try to remember when we are doing the worship services. Freedom and multiplicity of God. Hinduism gives us the freedom to approach God in our own way, encouraging a multiplicity of paths, not asking for conformity to just one way of path or one way of worshipping. In the Vedic period, we have 333 million gods. That is when the population was only 333 million. Now we have more than 7 billion gods. So that means we can have as many as 7 billion gods, and probably you can add even more. So that is the kind of freedom that is given to Hindus, and this is what the how Hinduism is so different from other religions. There are no restrictions in your way of worshipping, in way of imagining the manifestations. Yajurveda says there is no image of him, that is Brahman. And Upanishad says we only speak of just one God. And then Chandogya Upanishad, it says he is one and only without a second. Rigveda says the absolute truth is one, but it has been described in a variety of ways by the saints. Varieties of ways. Varieties of ways is a very important concept here. So you can just describe it the way you would like to describe it and attribute based on the experiences of that particular deity and the characteristics of that particular deity, the chivalry, the strength, what are the things that he has done. So those are the things that you can remember and then describe it and then keep it in mind whenever you are doing any worship services. In fact, one of the Vedic hymns says, this Brahman is limitless, indescribable, and absolute principle. So God is supremely powerful. He can manifest in any number of ways and forms as one wishes, and he exists in all of them simultaneously. Therefore, he eternally exists in the forms of Krishna, Rama, Shiva, Vishnu, etc. The true devotee respect all these forms of God while doing devotion to any one of them. It is not like one size fits all. You need different sizes for different people. We need different gods or manifestations of the supreme power to meet the needs of the people for different occasions. So there is a difference between monotheism, polytheism, and henotheism. In monotheism, obviously, so we always say is the belief in the existence of a single God. People were told not to have any other gods before one true God. And this one true God was a jealous God, even declaring that his name was jealous. Severe penalties, including death, excommunication, were instituted against those who worshipped other gods. Monotheism advocates one book, one God, one way. Anybody who opposes are called sinners who can be excommunicated or killed mercilessly. The monotheistic philosophy is barbaric, primitive, cruel, brutal, inhuman, ruthless, and merciless. No tolerance, no freedom. Revenge, repression, hatred, vengeance, and tyranny are the hallmarks of monotheism. Gore Vidal, he says, from barbaric Bronze Age text known as Old Testament, 3 anti-human religions have evolved: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. These are sky god religions. The sky god is a jealous god, of course. He requires total obedience from everyone on earth, as he is in place not for just one tribe, but for all creation. Those who would reject him must be converted or killed for their own good. This is what Gore Vidal says. George Bernard Shaw, he also had something to say about the multiplicity of God and the freedom of choice. He said, the apparent multiplicity of Hindu gods is bewildering at first glance. But soon you discover that they are all same God in different aspects and functions. There is always one uttermost God that defies personification. This makes Hinduism the most tolerant religion in the world because its one transcendent God includes all possible gods. With regard to the polytheism, it is described as a belief system in which several gods are acknowledged and worshipped. One would have freedom to elect whatever god or goddess he believes. Polytheism allows one to be atheist with no retribution. Throughout the course of human history, polytheistic religions of one sort or another have been the dominant majority. Polytheism promotes tolerance, freedom, inclusiveness, accommodation, patience, and independence. As a result, in any given family, if you have 4 members, one member may believe in one manifestation, another member may believe in another manifestation. So, like that one, all 4 family members may believe in 4 different manifestations. So as a result, from the childhood, a Hindu is actually led to believe in multiple manifestations. As a result, there is more tolerance, more patience toward others, and there is more acceptance of others' belief system. Monotheism is the word of a single supreme God, while not denying the existence or possible existence of other deities. It means the worship of one God without denying the existence of other gods. We Hindus believe in the one all-pervasive God who energizes the entire universe. Hinduism is both monotheism and henotheism. Hindus were never polytheistic, in the sense there are many equal gods. Henotheism literally means one God, better defines the Hindu view. It means the worship of one God without denying the existence of other gods. We Hindus believe in one all-pervasive God who energizes the entire creation. This view of God as existing in and giving life to all things is called pantheism. Hindus also believe in many gods who perform various functions like executives in a large corporation. They should not be confused with the Supreme God. Hindus believe that the Lord is in their hearts. All of us are manifestations of the divine, and everyone should have the freedom to commune with their inner nature in whatever way, shape, or form they desire. In Vedantic philosophy, it is taught that Brahman, Shakti, or energy exists in everything eternally. It is not time-bound. All gods, humans, animals, demons, and are basically the waves and the ripples in the ocean of divine consciousness. So, in conclusion, Hindus believe in multiplicity of gods. Hindus take pride in accepting the multiplicity of God with tolerance, with patience, without retribution to any other individual who believes in some other God. So it is the basis, Hinduism is the basis of basically peace and tolerance and patience.